Okay, hello VR students. Hopefully you've watched the video on installing Unity Hub in Unity. If you haven't done that, go back and watch that video because this one won't really be useful unless you've got your software installed. Okay, so again, favorite part of the video, sound effects. Okay, so when you have Unity Hub open after you've gotten, your installation of Unity installed, installing your installation, you know what I mean. Anyway, um, right now we're using 2021.3.8 F1, the long-term support version. Okay, so make sure you've got this in there. If you don't, go back to the previous video and do that thing. Okay, but if we go back to projects, all the projects that you've been using are going to be listed here. And notice that they have editor versions. The cool thing about Unity Hub is it will let you install multiple versions of Unity in case the project you're working on requires a specific version of Unity. And Unity does push new versions fairly frequently, and they're not always super backwards compatible. Yeah, they're sometimes a little bit backwards compatible, but not like you can't always rely on that. So it's good to have multiple versions of Unity installed if you're working on a lot of different projects. But for our purposes right now, we're going to go to New Project. And yeah, when I first opened Unity, it went to, I think, this. So it started off on Learning. And like there's like these kind of cool little things. I don't know, I've never messed with these. This is a new option. If it starts here, go up to Core, because you want to click on Core and select 3D Core. So it's just going to make a blank, generic 3D world in Unity. Down here, you've got your project name. Name this something useful. So for this one, I'm going to do Quest 2 Demo Getting Started, and for the VXR class. Okay. And then you click Create Project. And you wait. There's going to be a lot of waiting. There's actually a window open on the other screen right now that says Unity Opening Project. Create from template. And then it has a little green progress bar that we're waiting on. Now the courtesy that Unity gives you is whenever you've got a progress bar, it actually has busy for X number of seconds or minutes on the bar to let you know how legitimately frustrated you should be. The first time you do this is going to take a while. So my suggestion to you is let's see if I can drag this over there so you can at least enjoy the agony with me. Okay, it's doing stuff now, resolving some packages. Yeah, that's great. Okay, since making a Unity project is somewhat time consuming in terms of like getting all the stuff in place essentially, one of the things I recommend is that you make a skeleton project that you can reuse. You can copy it, paste it, edit it, so that you can do modifications from there, and it's already set up for running stuff on the Quest. Okay, so probably going to cut out a minute or two of this video just because this is taking forever, or I could just sit here and talk to you for several minutes. You know what? Normally I would make you listen to me talk, but I'm going to spare you and cut things out from this point until Unity's finished doing its magic. And we're back. That didn't take too long, maybe 5 or 6 minutes. Okay, so yeah, when it finally finishes like making the directory structure and files for your Unity project, this is what your Unity editor is going to look like. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, if you've messed around with any kind of like 3D software before, a lot of this is going to seem familiar. If you haven't, which is probably most of you, honestly, it's pretty intuitive. So, for instance, this is the 3D view, the perspective view of the world that you're building. And, you can select stuff by left-clicking and dragging. If you right-click and drag, it moves the camera view direction around. So yeah. And if you middle click and drag, it translates the camera. So it moves it side to side, up and down, while right clicking and dragging rotates the camera. And you can zoom in by using the scroll wheel. Zoom in, zoom out, fun stuff. Okay. There are a few things that we need to do in order to make this environment actually work with your Quest. The first thing, and it seems counterintuitive, you need to get rid of the camera. So delete the main camera. You can leave the directional light. We kind of need that. You need a surface to stand on. So let's go ahead and put a plane in here. Okay, and we'll just call that the ground. Now, notice when I click something over here, the things in this dialog here change. This over here on the left, on the right, is the inspector. The inspector gives you all the properties associated with the object that you've selected. Okay, in our case, we want to make a change to our ground. When you add an object to your Unity scene, it sometimes just arbitrarily puts it out there somewhere. Like this put it at an X position of about 1.15 meters, Y position of about 0.72, and a Z, a depth position of about negative 1.5. This is useless. You want your ground, typically, there are exceptions, but typically you want your ground plane to be located at 0, 0, 0. So centered with your scene's origin. Okay, and just for funsies, let's put a cube in here, and notice you can move objects around by dragging them with these arrows, or you could modify the numbers up here and very precisely position where you want them in your scene. We're going to leave this guy right here. And how I got that up is I right-clicked over here in the hierarchy window, or hierarchy pane, and added a 3D object. Okay, so now we've got a scene to look at. We've actually got to configure some settings in here so that it'll actually work with your Quest. The first thing you want to do is go to File and go to Build Settings. And this is where you configure what platform you actually want to compile your environment to run on. Since we're working with the Quest 2, we want to go to Android because inside this thing is essentially just a fancy Android phone. Not a lot we have to change over here. We do want to change texture compression. Oculus suggests that you use the ASTC compression, and next thing you gotta do is the device you want it to run on. Okay, so once you've got your headset hooked up to your computer, it'll bring up a little dialog that says, hey, do you want this computer to be able to access your headset? And that's going to happen inside of the headset. Click Allow, and then after that, it should show up in this Run Device dialog. So right here, Quest 2, select it, and we're good. Now we click Switch Platform. And this takes a while. I don't think this part takes super long. I'm actually trying to give you the steps in the order that would probably take the least amount of time for Unity to make you wait at dialogues. See, that wasn't so bad. Then it gives us another one. Okay, cool. Okay, our build platform has been set. Next thing we want to do is go up to Edit and go down to Project Settings. And that will open up a new dialog, of course, on my other window, or my other monitor. Okay, and be sure that Player is selected. Okay, there are a few things that we need to change in here to make sure this is going to work well on the Quest. The first thing that we want to do is under Color Space, we're going to want to change that to linear. Yeah, change to linear. And it's going to do more stuff. But don't worry, this shouldn't take super crazy long. Okay, close there. And doing a little bit more, you know, finishing up. Okay, almost. Okay, now it's reloading the script assemblies, apparently. Okay. Yeah, Unity's a whole like hurry up and wait kind of gig. Okay. Now let's see. Next thing we want to do is, let's uncheck this. There we go. Uncheck Auto Graphics API. And in here, you're going to probably have two options. Vulkan, which is super new, fast, awesome, fancy stuff, and OpenGL ES3. Vulkan is going to break your projects. It's just not, yeah, you can do it for other stuff. For the Quest 2 development right now, it's going to break stuff. So select Vulkan and click this little minus sign here and make it go away. All right. The next thing we need to do is scroll down and find minimum API level. Okay. So I would suggest selecting Marshmallow API level 23. Honestly, these will work too, but this is going to be the lowest level that you can set it to and it actually work. So let's just go ahead and set it here and leave target API level at automatic or highest installed. Okay, and that should have us good in here. The next thing we need to do is go to XR plugin management over on this side here. That's the very last option. Click that guy. And there's going to be a button here that says Install XR Plugin Management. Guess what? We're going to click it. Okay, so you click that guy and installing XR Management System. And we wait. And more progress bars. This one usually doesn't take too long, so shouldn't be too big of a hassle. Well, I say that, it's going to sit here on this little like end of the bar forever. Nah, it's going to finish up. Or it has more stuff to do. Yeah. Okay. So once that finishes, make sure Initialize XR on startup is checked. It should be by default, so you shouldn't have to worry about it. And then there are plugin providers, AR Core, Oculus, and Unity Mock HMD. We're going to be working with the Oculus Quest 2, or in this case, the Meta Quest 2, still Oculus. Select Oculus, and it's going to install the associated packages. More dialogues. Progress bars. Useful things to know. Compiling C# scripts. Yeah. So I hope you guys had a good summer. I had a really busy one, you know, but you know, getting stuff ready, getting stuff done, making progress. Okay, so cool. We should be good now, pretty much, right? Nope. One more thing we got to do. Go up to Window and go to Package Manager and let's see, XR Management Plugin. Check that, okay. It is installed. Awesome. Okay, next thing we're going to need to do is get the Oculus integration packages installed. Okay. So what you want to do is go to the Unity Asset Store. So assetstore.unity.com, and you can sign in with the same account that you signed into Unity Hub. They're free, so you know it's no big deal. What we're going to look for is Oculus integration. Okay. Now you're going to get some miscellany like VR interaction framework. Don't get that. Don't pay money for this. I don't know what it does. It's probably great, but it's not what you need. What you want to do is scroll down a little bit further and look for the big O here that says Oculus under it, and is labeled Oculus integration for free. Open this guy up. Cool. And hit open in Unity. And it'll prompt you to use your Unity editor. Yeah, there we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. So for me, it's already installed. So there's going to be an install or update or something option down here when this comes up. Since I already have it installed and I've already got the latest version, right now we're sitting at version 42. I can just click import and it'll bring it into the scene. Otherwise, you're probably going to have to do install, and then the button will change from install to import, and you can click import. And here we are, waiting on more stuff to happen again. Okay, so once it's finished importing, you can close this window. And it will give you this dialog. Okay. There's a lot of stuff that comes in the Oculus integration package. You could go through here painstakingly selecting the things that you do and do not want. Honestly, the easiest way to go for getting you on the ground and running is all and import. And then it imports everything from the Oculus package into the assets folder for your Unity project. And this shouldn't take too long. Okay, that took about 15 minutes to import. The next thing that happens after your import, you're going to get this. Update Oculus Utilities plugin. Oculus Utilities has detected a newer version of OVR plugin is available. Using the newest version is recommended. You want to enable it? Yeah, enable it. So click yes. And yeah, okay. So OpenXR. You're going to want to use this. There are a few legacy features in the Oculus tools that are not going to be supported. The one that it's noting here is mixed reality capture. They're making better ways to do this now. So go ahead and click Use OpenXR, and OK. And then guess what? More waiting. I don't think this one will take very long, though, so I might not actually stop the video for this little bit. Yeah, okay, cool. So it says OVR plugin has been updated. Please restart your editor to complete the update. And you can click restart. And deprecated, let's do show assets, and it's going to give you this. These are all deprecated scripts from the Oculus integration that you don't need anymore. It's telling you that you don't need them, but you know, who knows? You might be doing something weird with your project and like need something deprecated that you're using for something else. Who knows? You're just getting started. You're not using any of this stuff. Delete assets. And delete assets. Okay, and spatializer plugin. Yeah, gonna upgrade that. It's for spatialized audio. Okay, and restart editor, if it will actually do that. Okay, it's doing stuff. Script compilation is apparently happening. I would expect the editor to actually like restart when it does this. I'm not seeing it happening though. Okay. Oh, well, it might just have to reload the scripts. Let's see. And more progress bars. There we go. Okay. We haven't saved our environment since we started editing it, so let's go ahead and save it. And there we go. The editor should restart itself, and of course it started on the other monitor. Okay, we'll give it a second to load back up. Again, this shouldn't take terribly long, but honestly, getting your project started in Unity is a lot of little weights. And all those little weights kind of add up. So, you know, have a book to read, a show to watch, you know, homework to do while you're waiting on each of these little like micro steps to finish. Fortunately, these are all overhead. It's like all like the first time you set up your environment. So shouldn't be too bad, especially if you keep a copy of it as, after you've done all this, keep a copy of it as a skeleton project to build your other projects off of. Yeah, still waiting. Okay, here we go. Excellent. Just a little more waiting, you know, that's sort of Unity's thing. Okay, awesome. Okay. Now, one of the things that you're going to notice is that down here, this is your project directory structure. So each of these folders is a folder inside of your Unity project. Most of what you're going to be dealing with are going to be under assets. So if you click one of these folders, it shows you their contents over here on this side. So what we want to do is in assets, go to Oculus and VR and prefabs. Prefabs are your friend. Prefabs are canned tools, objects, whatnots that you can use inside of Unity. There's a very specific prefab that we want to get. We want to get this guy right here. This is the OVR camera rig. And this is what replaces your camera in your game view. So we're going to drag this up here to the hierarchy and drop it in. And notice, there it is. Cool. Okay, so game objects can have game objects inside of them. So if we click this little downward arrow, we see some things start popping up. Tracking space, left eye anchor, center eye anchor. These are associated with your eyes in the virtual world. The center eye anchor being the midpoint between your eyes. And left hand anchor and right hand anchor. And if we open those up individually, we've got one for our controller for the left and right hands. Okay, cool. Okay, so right now we could build this environment and we could see it immediately inside of our headsets. But there's something missing. And that something that's missing is you're not going to be able to see your controllers. To see your controllers, you've got to bring in your OVR controller prefab. And you've got to add two of them. One underneath your right controller anchor. So what you did, you clicked on your controller, OVR controller prefab, and you dragged it and put it right on top of right controller anchor. You're going to do the same thing for the left controller anchor. And there we go. But we're still not quite there yet. Highlight these guys, and over here in the inspector pane, where it says controller, select that it's the touch style controllers that are with the Quest. So select L touch for your left controller, then select your right controller and change that to R touch. Okay, so now we have a very basic virtual environment. One of the things that happened after you imported your Oculus package is you got this little Oculus menu option up here at the top. If you click that, go to OVR build, and you've got some options. You got a quick preview option, build your APK. APK is essentially the executable package that you're going to be running on an Android device like the Quest. Think of it like compiling your exe. And then you've got build, APK, and run. This is the option you're going to be using most of the time. Because what will happen is it will build the executable and automatically load it and start it on the headset, which is what you want to do. So you click here, and we get more dialogues. It's asking us to save, which is great. And of course, there's an OVR build APK menu that is locked off screen right now. And it has a button that says build. Click that button that says build, and all of this stuff will start happening for you. And this might actually take a little while to do. If you've got a beefier machine, run it on that one. If one of your teammates has a beefier machine for compiling, run it on that. It'll work on any machine that you're compiling on. It just depends, how long you want to wait for it to take. But after it's done its preliminary build, it doesn't have to rebuild the entire project from the ground up. So after your first build, subsequent builds will be shorter. Okay, so that took about 20-ish minutes to compile. It shouldn't take that long on subsequent builds. So as long as you've got your skeleton built, it should be quicker. And then it deploys it directly to the headset. So right now, by the way, if you didn't have your headset plugged into your computer to do this, you needed to have that done. But now it's deployed and we can take it out. And let's see our world. Okay. Okay. So I'm sitting in the ground plane right now because I haven't done my room setup. But if I stand up, you can look around and hey, there's the cube. Oh, and look, there's the controller. And I can even press the buttons and stuff happens. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so this is your basic plane. Oh, it even does a little bit of shadow mapping. Kind of low resolution, but not bad. But yeah, this is your plain, vanilla, hit the ground running, Oculus Quest 2 project. Okay, so with this, you guys should be able to have a good start to the rest of the semester and be ready for building some much cooler stuff. Okay, so zoop, back on up to full screen. Okay, so go through these two videos as early as you can, keep them on hand, reference them whenever you need them, because this is going to be the basis of every single project you're going to do in this class. So as long as you've got Unity installed with the appropriate version, the settings that I showed you in this video, you should be able to build and push APKs directly to your headset. And yeah, hope you guys are all doing well, staying happy, healthy, and safe, and I will see you in class.